Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me.
Welcome. On the 30th of April 2022, Xplore Dundee, who run the local bus services here in Dundee, Scotland, launched their summer-long open-top bus tour called Discover Dundee. I can't believe it, but according to people on social media anyway, it is the first time that any such bus tour has been available for about 20 years. It genuinely doesn't seem that long, but apparently it has been. I do want to make it very clear right from the start of this video that this is not any kind of advertisement, paid sponsorship or anything of that regard. This is yet again on this channel just something that's happening here in Dundee that I want to talk about and highlight. As I stated, this is a summer-long thing, so the tours are available from April the 30th until the 11th of September. So right the way throughout the summer, these are available, and they're very regular in fact. The tours begin and end at the Discovery Point, and I firmly believe that the times do not change even the weekend, because the tours are available start from 9:30 AM until 5 PM. That's every day of the week, 7 days a week. The tours begin from that point every 30 minutes, and to go on a complete tour lasts approximately, give or take a minute or two for traffic and traffic lights, etc., 50 minutes. So they're every 30 minutes lasting approximately 50 minutes. The bus tour route itself is, to be honest, relatively simple one. I think, again, people have their own opinions about where, this bus route should potentially go. There are various different locations have been suggested on social media, but to be honest, some of those locations, such as local football grounds, especially right now, although they're getting to the end of the season, sometimes those roads are not accessible, they're closed off for various things, so especially the matches. So obviously Xplore Dundee have to have a route that they can go on every single time, every single day. And this is a bit of an experimental thing for Xplore Dundee anyway. As I said, the first time in many years that such a bus tour has actually been made available, so they don't want kind of the route to be potluck on any given day. They want a specific route, and to be honest, this route does achieve. I've been on it twice. I think this route does, and obviously there's a lot of advertisement and information stuff on the Xplore Dundee website. This route certainly does, I think, give a bit of a taste and flavour of Dundee to those who take the tour. In terms of the route itself, the bus does go from the Discovery Point right the way around and through the city centre of Dundee. So you pass places such as the Dundee Railway Station, the Dundee Contemporary Arts, the Rep Theatre, the McManus Galleries, the Overgate Shopping Centre, various different shops and streets in the city centre. It makes its way around to even kind of near the Dundee University, and it eventually goes up towards Victoria Road, up the Hilltown area of the city, and up to the Law Hill. It doesn't actually go right to the top of the Law Hill. I did see some information, some talk about them wanting for Dundee Council to do some type of maintenance work, and then potentially the bus would go right to the top of the law. To be honest, I'm not convinced that will happen now. I think it may probably just stop where it stops, which is about 2/3 of the way up the law. It is a hop on, hop off tour, and there's a couple of stops including the law, so you can, if you want to, and I'll talk about tickets later in this video, because I think there's a couple of really pleasantly surprising things about them. you can hop off the bus if you wish to and go up the law, that final third, and take in the view. And it's quite a view. I will mention this again, but I do in any video that I do about visiting Dundee or looking at Dundee. But the lot is certainly one of the places to go if you want a really good view of the city, especially on a nice sunny clear day. You can see right the way across the city from down to Broughty Ferry, the city centre including the Tay Road and rail bridges, to even kind of towards Strathmartin Downfield area, to again Dens and Tannadice Park, the home of 2 professional football teams. Right across the city you get a real panoramic 360 degree view of the city. Even you can see some of the airplanes ascending and descending towards and from the Dundee airport. You can't quite see the airport due to the way it is. It's right out along the riverside to the right if you're looking down towards the city centre. But you do see them flying about, and it is quite a view you get from there. So if you want to, you can hop off there, take in the view for a while, and then get on when one of the buses comes back up the law. So it's really, I always recommend visiting the law if you're in Dundee. From there, the law is left behind, as it kind of goes down almost the same route down the hill town in and around the city of centre of Dundee. It does go down to the city quay, where you can see the Northcar lightship, and right down, far down, there is the HMS Unicorn, which is another one of the visitor attractions in the city. I keep meaning to go there and explore that. I haven't been there for a few years, but from there it goes, it just passes the city quay, goes around, and then it goes on to the Tay Road Bridge. I will say this caveat of it is weather permitting. Obviously, if the wind and weather gets too bad, they do put in some restrictions on the Tay Road Bridge. So if the wind is really bad, they kind of ban high-sided vehicles like open-top buses or double-deckers like this. So hopefully the weather, especially as we're getting into the summer, will be really good. So the bus, if it is the bus, will go on the Tay Road Bridge. To be honest, I deliberately sat on the left-hand side of the bus because from there you get a good view of the apartment buildings and towards the docks area of Dundee as the bus is leaving Dundee across the road bridge. And you can see some of the oil platforms and some of the kind of related platforms that is often worked on at the docks. And then the bus will go right across. It doesn't stop across, and you see in Fife as well as it going across the River Tay. You get a good view of early kind of parts of Fife, if there is such a good kind of good view of Fife. And I'm only kidding, but you get a good view of Fife and down, kind of starting to head towards Tayport. It goes down at the end of the bridge. There's a circle, or as non-Dundonians call them, roundabouts. It just simply turns around the roundabout and then back onto the Tay Road Bridge and back towards the city. And then if you're on the left hand side, or if you're been on the other side, which to be honest, the way that the bridge is, I think if you want that, sit on the left hand side. You get, because going back to the city, you get a great view of the Tay Whale sculpture and the new waterfront place that I've talked about numerous times in this channel. Also see the V&A Museum and Discovery Point. And then as it gets off of the Tay Road Bridge, it goes around a little bit again, kind of doubles back on itself slightly just due to the nature of the roads. Then it goes back down to the Discovery Point to end the tour. And again, as I said, the tour lasts approximately, give or take a couple of minutes, 50 minutes in total. Although it doesn't really genuinely feel that long. It didn't, some things, you sit and watch something, or you're on a journey and it may feel like ages and ages, but genuinely the couple of times that I've been on this tour really didn't feel very long at all. So it went very quickly. I was concentrating on taking photos the first time and just seeing where it went. So when I was on there the first time, I didn't actually take the option which is available on the tour of listening to the audio tour, which I'll get to now. The audio tour is given by a former Wave FM radio presenter, Chris Beattie, along with a couple of actors put in doing a couple of bits, including the Dundee dialect. I think the audio tour was quite decent. I was kind of half listening to it. You do get, with the price of your ticket, which I'll talk about shortly, earphones, so you can plug them in and listen to this audio tour. Some of the tours that you get in different places, you pay your money to get on to the bus, but then you also, like airlines sometimes, if I remember on a couple of planes we've been on, like it's like double headed ends of the earphones, and your normal ones won't work, so you've got to kind of forced to pay the £2 or £3 to buy a special ended pair of earphones so you can listen to in music or watch films, TV, whatever offering they have. You do get the earphones included in the price of the bus tour, so you can listen to the audio tour. As I said, I think it was a really decent one. I gave a lot of facts that I knew already, obviously, as I'm a born and bred Dundonian, so I knew pretty much all of this. But I think it really gave a great overview of some of the history of Dundee itself, some of the areas of the city, some of the characters and businesses, and really give you an overview of why Dundee is this, not only the city of discovery, but the city of jute, jam and journalism also. I thought it was great. There was a lot of the basic general facts, but again, I said it was only a 50-minute tour, so going in depth you can't really do, and I really don't like it myself when some of these tour things go really, really in depth. But I thought some great stories involving some of the characters and businesses and industries within Dundee, and honestly, I think it's a great kind of jumping off point in terms of if these kinds of stories and getting a little bit of really scratching the surface of the history of the city, it can tempt you, and there's many other avenues to do this, but it can tempt people maybe, hopefully, to look into more about the history of Dundee in more depth. So I enjoyed the audio tour. It's quite funny in places as well, especially I really like the retelling of the story of the marmalade and how that became associated with Dundee and the Dundee dialect section. That will confuse a couple of people, a few visitors, I'm sure, but I really enjoyed it. So talking of the tickets, honestly, a couple of parts about the tickets genuinely surprised me. I knew this going into it. This was all advertised before the tour was launched. I went on it the Monday after the tour was launched, and I've been on it a few days ago now. I think it was actually almost last week now, to be honest, by the time we're recording this video. But the tickets, well, first of all, I will put up the prices taken from the PDF thing that I downloaded from the Discover Dundee website. The good thing about the tickets, first of all, these tickets last 24 hours. I wasn't sure how exactly the tickets would work, to be honest, when this was announced, but if you buy your ticket, say 2-3 PM and you go on later afternoon, if you wish to, you could go on early the next day. So the tickets last approximately 24 hours. So you can hop on, off at any time, however many times you want during that 24-hour period, as long as your ticket is valid, which is a really good thing. I know other bus tours I've seen, even in places like New York, it's like you buy your ticket on some of them, and it's literally you go on the tour, and once you get off, that's it. Your ticket is done, dusted. So for them to last 24 hours, I was pleasantly surprised about that when they announced that. So that's a really good thing if you want to jump on it in various different places, like I said, like the Law Hill, or jump off, or go around, go on it a couple of times during that day. Then you can actually do that. What is also pleasantly surprising about the tickets is that they are also able to be used on other Explore Dundee local services. I didn't expect that. I will be completely honest. Again, many of these things, the bus tickets are valid for the bus tour and the bus tour only. They do talk in the audio tour about Broughty Ferry, and you can catch number 5 from the city centre and go down and explore Broughty Ferry, which if you have the time I would encourage people to do, because it's in quite a nice little area of Dundee with the beach and some of the shops. There's like almost like a seaside town-esque kind of feel to it. But it's obviously part of Dundee, and you get a kind of decent view of the rest of Dundee from down there as well. And so I was genuinely surprised by that. So that obviously encourages any visitors and tourists to further explore the city, maybe make their way down to maybe the Transport Museum or the Botanical Gardens, or wherever they want to explore again more of the city rather than just the city centre of Dundee. Various people have, of course, their own opinion about this being offered in the city. I would certainly encourage people to make up their own minds, to go ahead, get on the bus tour, experience it for themselves, especially as we're coming up to the summer holidays. I think it would be a great thing for families with kids to go on. To be honest, like I said, it's the first time in many years that such a bus tour has been offered, so I think it'd be a great thing for the kids to go on, families to go on, to be honest, to kind of explore Dundee, get a slightly different viewpoint than going around on your own 2 feet, which is something I appreciate as a hobbyist photographer. There's nowhere that I can really go to get a higher viewpoint of the city, nowhere I can legally go and take photographs and enjoy the view. So it's just a slightly different, higher view of the various buildings and the city itself. You still get a good view, even if you don't get off the bus at the Law. You still get from the top of the bus a really decent view of the city. So that kind of thing I appreciate. I've been up the Law Hill and obviously around Dundee many times before. So I think it's a great thing that this is being offered. Again, it's very experimental by Explore Dundee. It's something that they're trying out. Considering all the investment and everything that's going on in the city, that obviously I won't go into in this video, but there's a lot of investment and a lot of building stuff and a lot of plans going forward over these next, especially 5-6 years, as the great plan continues towards 2030 that Dundee Council have. I think that this is something that could be a great offering, again, to visitors and tourists, even Dundonians, or people living in the city, or they're in the city for whatever reason, whether they're born here or they live here now. Dundee is a melting pot of various different nationalities, ethnicities, etc., which is a great thing to see. And so I think certainly would recommend people trying this out themselves and seeing it. But again, especially with families, it's first time in many years, so take your kids on it. Again, I'm nothing to do with Explore Dundee or this bus tour, but I would certainly recommend people having at least one go around on it and see what they think. Well, if they think it's good, then great. If they don't particularly like it or whatever, then that's all. People are welcome to their own opinions. But I think for visitors and tourists, especially considering, as I begin to wrap this video up, Dundee has lost much of its manufacturing power over the past few decades, and a lot of the plans, especially from Dundee Council again, have been about attracting visitors and tourists to the city. So having a potential offering like this going forward would be really good. And I think it's something, again, I always tend to think that some of the culture competitions and City of Culture and everything like that Dundee has gone for has been a few years too early. In my opinion, I've talked about it before, that I think some of this stuff we're going for recently has been just too early because of all of these plans yet to come to fruition. And I would also like them to all be a success, but I think having this kind of visitor attraction for, yet again, visitors and tourists and Dundonians alike, anybody that's coming into Dundee, is a great thing. And I think having that as just another option for people to go on would be great. Again, it's very experimental by Explore Dundee. I'm certainly hoping that it will be a success, and hopefully in the future, even if it's just during the summer, obviously, again, this whole bus tour ends approximately the on the 11th of September. So even if they just offer these tours during the summer period, it would be great going forward. Maybe we'll see tweaks to the routes in the years to come if they stick to it, if they continue this during the summer. So I think it's a great option to have, another option for Dundee to have, especially they've still got lots of plans, especially things going on during the summer, which I won't go into in this point because I want to check a couple of bits that I saw recently come out about different festival things and different events potentially happening. So I want to check out that first before I talk about it. But again, I'm really happy to see this being tried out at least. I think kudos to Xplore Dundee for trying this, giving this option, and I'd say I really hope this going forward is successful, and we can see this as another visitor attraction, as there are many in the city going forward in the years to come.